I never thought a Thanksgiving gift would lead me to an X-ray machine at 2 in the morning. But there I was, standing in the emergency radiology department where I'd worked for 30 years, holding a ceramic aromatherapy diffuser and wondering if my own son was trying to kill me. Let me back up. My name is Margaret Chen, though most people call me Maggie. I'm 58 years old, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I'd retired from my position as head pharmacist at Providence Portland Medical Center 2 years earlier. My husband Daniel passed 5 years ago from a sudden heart attack, and I'd finally made peace with being alone. I sold our family home in the Pearl District for $800,000 and was about to close on a modern condo downtown. Life was simple, manageable. Mine. My son Ryan is 32. He's my only child, and for most of his life, he was everything a mother could hope for. Valedictorian, full scholarship to Reed College, bright future in finance. But somewhere in his late 20s, things shifted. The calls became less frequent, the visits more strained. And about a year ago, I started noticing things. Expensive watches he couldn't afford, designer clothes that didn't match his salary. When I asked, he'd laugh it off, say he was doing well, making smart investments. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. Thanksgiving arrived cold and wet, typical Portland weather. I'd prepared everything Daniel and I used to make together. The turkey, herb stuffing, cranberry sauce from scratch, pumpkin pie with the crust recipe his mother taught me. I set the table for 3 because Ryan had called 2 days earlier asking if he could bring someone special. Mom, her name is Natasha. I really think you'll like her. There was something in his voice. A nervousness I hadn't heard since he was 16 asking to borrow the car. But I told him, of course, bring her. I'd love to meet her. They arrived at 4, right on time. Ryan looked good. Too good, actually. Gucci loafers I knew cost over $600, a watch that had to be $15,000 at minimum, and Natasha Vega was 28. Stunning in that carefully constructed way. Dark hair in perfect waves, makeup that looked natural but probably took an hour, designer dress that showed just enough. She worked in real estate, she told me, luxury properties in Lake Oswego and West Lynn. Her handshake was firm, her smile wide, her eyes calculating. Mrs. Chen, Ryan has told me so much about you. Your home is beautiful. Please, call me Maggie. And thank you, though I'm actually selling it. Something flickered across her face, just for a second. Then the smile returned. Oh? Downsizing? Moving downtown, I found a lovely condo near the waterfront. Ryan jumped in. That's great, Mom. Really great. You'll love it down there. More freedom, less maintenance. We sat down to dinner, and I tried to enjoy it. I really did. But I kept noticing things. The way Natasha's eyes would scan the room, cataloging, assessing. The way Ryan's knee bounced under the table, a nervous habit from childhood that only appeared when he was hiding something. The way they'd exchange glances when they thought I wasn't looking. After dinner, after the pie, after the coffee, Ryan pulled out a wrapped box from his bag. Mom, we got you something. For everything you've done, for being such an amazing mother, we wanted you to have this. I unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a high-end ceramic aromatherapy diffuser, sleek and modern, in a soft sage green. The box claimed it had smart features, app connectivity, customizable settings. For your health and relaxation, Natasha said, leaning forward. Essential oils can do wonders for sleep, stress, even memory at your age. At my age, the phrase hung in the air. It's beautiful, I said, because it was. Thank you both. This is very thoughtful. Ryan beamed. Actually beamed. And that's when I knew something was wrong. Because my son, my wonderful, complicated son, had never been thoughtful like this. Not about health, not about relaxation, not about gifts that required research and consideration. They left around 8. Ryan hugged me tight, tighter than usual, and whispered, I love you, Mom. Use the diffuser every night, okay? It'll help you sleep. After they left, I sat in my living room holding the box. The diffuser was heavier than it should be. Not dramatically, but enough that my pharmacist's brain, trained to notice discrepancies in medication weights, caught it. I turned it over in my hands. The bottom had a small panel that looked like it should open for water filling, but the seams didn't quite match up right. I spent the next hour searching online. The brand was real, well-reviewed, but the model number on my box didn't match anything I could find. Close, but not exact. At 11 that night, I texted my old colleague James, who worked night shift in radiology. "Any chance I could stop by? Need a favor. Old pharmacist paranoia kicking in." He responded immediately. "For you, Maggie? Always. Come on down." The hospital was quiet when I arrived. James met me at the staff entrance, didn't ask questions until we were in the radiology room. "What are we looking at?" I handed him the diffuser. "Gift from my son. Weight seems off. Probably nothing. But humor me?" He placed it in the machine. We both stared at the monitor as the image appeared. James went very still. "Maggie, that's not nothing." There, clear as day on the X-ray, were two small devices embedded in the ceramic housing, one near the top, one near the water reservoir. Tiny cameras, audio equipment, broadcasting devices. My son had given me a surveillance device for Thanksgiving. I didn't cry. Not then. I thanked James, made him promise not to mention this to anyone, and drove home in a fog. I placed the diffuser exactly where I'd left it on the kitchen counter. Then I went upstairs, pulled out my laptop, and started typing. No more conversations in my house. Everything would be text, email, written notes from now on. The next morning, I texted my attorney, Patricia Morrison. We'd worked together on Daniel's estate, and I trusted her completely. "Need to meet. Urgent. Not at office. Somewhere we can talk privately." We met at a coffee shop in Beaverton, far from my neighborhood. I showed her photos of the X-ray on my phone. Her expression hardened. "Maggie, this is serious. Have you confronted Ryan?" I shook my head. "I need to know why first." "What's the end game?" "Probably your money. You just sold your house. You're about to make a large purchase. If someone wanted to access your accounts, control your finances, they'd need information. Power of attorney documentation. Account numbers. Passwords. So they're listening for that information, or waiting for the right moment to manipulate you into giving it to them." Patricia pulled out her phone. "I'm calling a friend at Portland PD. Detective Marcus Webb, Financial Crimes Unit. This is his specialty." 3 days later, I met Detective Webb at a coffee shop downtown. He was in his 40s, graying at the temples, with the tired eyes of someone who'd seen too much human ugliness. "Mrs. Chen," Patricia filled me in. "I ran some background checks. Your son Ryan, he's got gambling debts, significant ones. Owes about $200,000 to various casinos and private lenders. Some of them not so private, if you catch my meaning." My heart sank. "He's in danger?" "He's in deep, but here's the thing. Natasha Vega, his girlfriend, she's got a record. Fraud, elder abuse, identity theft. Did 3 years in California for scamming seniors out of their retirement funds. Got out 8 months ago. I felt physically sick. She targeted him to get to me. That's our working theory. She finds vulnerable men with wealthy parents, manipulates them into helping her gain access to assets. Usually through forged power of attorney documents, sometimes through more direct means. More direct? His eyes met mine. There have been 2 suspicious deaths connected to her previous cases. Both elderly parents who mysteriously fell, had accidents, or overdosed on medications shortly after changing their wills. Nothing was ever proven, but the pattern is there. I made myself breathe. In through my nose, out through my mouth, the way Daniel taught me during panic attacks after his diagnosis. What do? We gather evidence. You keep the diffuser plugged in, let them think everything is normal. But you communicate nothing sensitive out loud in your house. Everything important goes through text or in-person meetings. Meanwhile, I get a warrant for surveillance on Ryan and Natasha. We see what they're planning. For the next 2 weeks, I lived a double life. During the day, I went about my routine. I kept the diffuser on my nightstand, even added water and essential oils to make it look used. I had one-sided conversations on the phone with my attorney's assistant, who was in on the plan, discussing fake account numbers and made-up financial decisions. At night, I met with Detective Webb at various locations. He played me recordings from the wiretap they'd placed on Ryan's phone in Natasha's apartment. The first one broke my heart. Ryan's voice, slurred with alcohol. "I don't know if I can do this, Nat. She's my mom." Natasha's voice, soothing, manipulative. "Baby, we've talked about this. She's not going to be around forever anyway. Wouldn't it be better if you had the resources to really build a life? To pay off your debts and start fresh? She loves you. She'd want you to be taken care of. But the drugs in the diffuser oils, the plan to make it look like she fell, is merciful. She won't suffer. And you'll have everything you need. We'll have everything we need. We can finally be together without all this stress." I had to leave the car. I stood in the parking lot of a Fred Meyer and vomited into a bush. My son. My baby boy. The child I'd rocked through fevers and nightmares and heartbreaks. He was planning to kill me. Detective Webb found me there. He didn't say anything, just handed me a bottle of water and waited. "Can you prove it?" I finally asked. "Everything you just played me, can you prove it in court? We're building the case. The diffuser has trace amounts of benzodiazepines mixed into the oil reservoir, enough to sedate someone heavily over time. We found forged POA documents in Natasha's apartment with your signature, and we have the recordings. But we need more. We need them to act on it. Then let's give them a reason to act." The plan was simple. I would have a loud phone conversation near the diffuser, announcing that I was meeting with my attorney in 3 days to sign updated estate documents. Everything would go to a charitable trust upon my death, with only a small annual stipend for Ryan. We predicted they'd try to stop it, to either convince me to change my mind or to accelerate their timeline. We were right. 2 days before the supposed attorney meeting, Ryan called. "Mom, hey, I was thinking, why don't you come stay with me and Natasha for a few days? We have that extra room, and I feel like we haven't spent quality time together in forever." "Oh, sweetheart, that's kind. But I have so much to do with the move." "Mom, please, I really want this. Bring your diffuser. Bring whatever makes you comfortable. Just come be with us." There was something desperate in his voice, and I knew this was it. If I went to that apartment, I wouldn't leave alive. "Okay," I heard myself say. Tomorrow night. I'll make your favorite mom. That pasta carbonara you love." I showed up at 6 the next evening. Detective Webb and 3 officers parked in an unmarked van down the street. I wore a wire under my cardigan. I carried an overnight bag with the diffuser prominently displayed in the outer pocket. Ryan answered the door with that same too bright smile. "Mom, come in, come in." The apartment was nice. Too nice for what Ryan claimed to earn. Natasha greeted me with a hug that felt like a spider wrapping up prey. "Maggie, we're so glad you're here. Ryan's been cooking all afternoon." Dinner was excruciating. I pushed pasta around my plate, made small talk, pretended everything was normal. The diffuser sat on the coffee table, turned on, misting lavender-scented air that I knew was laced with drugs designed to make me compliant, sleepy, easy to stage an accident with. After dinner, Natasha poured wine. I pretended to drink mine, letting it stain my lips while dumping most of it into a plant when they weren't looking. Around 9, Ryan's phone rang. He stepped into the bedroom to take it, and that's when Natasha leaned in close. "You know, Maggie, Ryan's been under so much stress. Financial stress. He's made some mistakes, gotten in over his head with some bad people. But you could help him. You're sitting on almost $1 million in liquid assets. Surely you could spare some for your only son. I'm planning to donate most of it to charity, medical research in Daniel's name." Her eyes went cold. "That seems selfish. Your husband's dead. Your son is alive and needs help. What kind of mother chooses a dead man's legacy over her living child? The kind who raised that child to be responsible for his own choices." She stood abruptly. "You're being unreasonable. Ryan warned me you'd gotten stubborn in your old age. Maybe you need to rest, think clearly. Why don't you lie down? You must be tired from the wine and the diffuser oils. They're specially formulated to help older people relax." "I know what they're formulated to do, Natasha. I'm a pharmacist. Or I was, for 30 years. Long enough to recognize benzodiazepines mixed into essential oils." Her face changed. The mask dropped completely. You know, I know everything. The plan, the forged documents, your record in California. 2 deaths, weren't there? 2 other families you destroyed? She moved fast, grabbing a kitchen knife from the counter. But I'd already pressed the panic button on my phone, and Detective Webb's voice came through the wire. Maggie, get down. Now. The apartment door crashed open. Officers flooded in. Natasha dropped the knife, hands up, face twisted with rage. Ryan emerged from the bedroom, saw the police, and his legs gave out. He collapsed against the wall, sobbing. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to. She said it was the only way. The people I owe, they were going to kill me. I thought if I just had the money. You thought killing your mother was easier than asking for help? He couldn't look at me. They arrested them both. Natasha fought, screaming about lawyers and wrongful arrest until they dragged her out in handcuffs. Ryan went quietly, still crying, still apologizing, still not understanding that sorry doesn't fix this kind of betrayal. Detective Webb stayed with me while I gave my statement. When it was done, when I'd recounted everything, he drove me home. Your son is looking at 5 to 7 years for attempted fraud, conspiracy, and forgery. Could be more depending on what else we find. Natasha's facing 8 to 10 for multiple counts of elder abuse, conspiracy, fraud, attempted murder. She'll likely be deported after she serves her time. Good, I said. And I meant it. That was 6 weeks ago. I closed on my condo last Tuesday. It's smaller than the house, just enough space for me and the senior dog I adopted from the shelter, a gentle golden retriever named Rufus who's 12 and content to sleep most of the day. I haven't visited Ryan in jail. He writes letters that I leave unopened. Maybe someday I'll read them. Maybe someday I'll forgive him. But not today. Instead, I volunteer 3 days a week at the community center, teaching elder safety workshops. I show people the signs of financial abuse, how to protect their assets, how to trust their instincts when something feels wrong. I tell them my story, the parts I can legally share, and I watch their faces change from polite interest to horror to determination. Last week, a woman in her 60s approached me after class. She was crying. My daughter's boyfriend has been pushing me to add him to my checking account. Said it would make things easier when I need help. Something felt off. But I thought I was being paranoid. After hearing you speak, I realize I'm not paranoid. I'm aware. I hugged her, told her to trust that awareness, to protect herself without apology, because that's what I've learned. Love doesn't mean letting people destroy you. It doesn't mean sacrificing your safety for someone else's comfort. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is say no, even to your own child, especially to your own child. Thanksgiving is coming again. This year, I'll spend it with my support group, 7 other survivors of elder abuse who've become closer than family. We'll cook together, share our stories, celebrate the fact that we're still here, still standing, still fighting. I'll think about Ryan. I'll probably always think about Ryan. But I won't mourn the relationship we had, because I'm starting to realize that relationship was built on my denial and his entitlement. Real love, healthy love, doesn't require you to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. The diffuser is evidence now, locked away in a police storage facility. Sometimes I think about that Thanksgiving, about unwrapping that box, about the moment I felt the weight was wrong and trusted myself enough to investigate. That moment saved my life. So now I tell other people, trust yourself. Trust that feeling in your gut when something doesn't add up. Trust your experience, your knowledge, your instincts. You've survived this long for a reason. Don't let anyone, not even someone you love, convince you that you're too old, too confused, too paranoid to recognize danger. Because you're not. You're experienced. You're wise. And you deserve to protect yourself. Rufus just woke up from his nap, tail wagging, ready for our afternoon walk along the waterfront. The rain's cleared, and there's actually sunshine breaking through the clouds. Portland's putting on a show. I grab his leash, my phone, my keys. I lock my door, this door that only I have the key to, in this space that's only mine. And I step out into the November light, alive and free, and finally learning what it means to choose myself. Thanksgiving used to mean family obligation. Now it means being thankful I trusted my instincts. And that's a holiday worth celebrating.